Give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders which rule great millstone Mount and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa ba ba ba. This is Ezekiel 29, which, as you see in the subtitle, it says Judgment of Egypt, which it's talking about ancient Egypt and also modern spiritual Egypt, America. And just to show you, all right, I asked Google, when was Egypt desolate for 40 years? It says through AI overview, the 40-year period during which Egypt was laid waste is a prophesied event from the Bible, specifically Ezekiel 29:11-15, and not a historically confirmed 40-year period of total desolation and uninhabitability. While Nebuchadnezzar did invade Egypt around 568 BCE, causing some disruption, there is no conclusive historical or archaeological evidence of a 40-year period where the entire land was left uninhabited. The prophecy likely uses hyperbole to describe a significant but not literal time of devastation and a lasting loss of Egypt's imperial power. But it's really talking about America. All right. Let me pull this word up real quick. I want to see what this word means. Hyperbole. Now, I wouldn't even guess that. Hyperbole. I can see it now, though. It says exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally, which obviously they don't understand the scriptures. All right, so in the Bible, numbers have meaning, right? Like 7, right? Shabbat, which is 7, the Sabbath, Shabbat, right? 7th day, which 7 means completion. Okay, so 40 has a meaning also. In the Bible, the number 40 often symbolizes a period of testing, trial, or probation. It can also represent a generation of people or a period of transition between two states. The number 40 appears frequently in the Bible with instances including Noah's flood, which was the first death, lasting 40 days and nights, the Israelites wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, and Moses spending 40 days and nights on Mount Sinai, right? So it says transition, the 40 days Yahushua spent with his disciples after his resurrection and before his ascension into the chariot, the cloud, the so-called UFO, which now he sits at the right hand of his Father in heaven, in paradise. It says can be viewed as a transition period between his death and the establishment of the church. All right. It says other instances. The Bible also mentions other instances of 40, such as Goliath challenging the Israelites for 40 days, and 40 lashes being the maximum punishment for certain offenses. All right. So it says symbolic interpretation. Some scholars argued that the number 40, especially when it appears repeatedly in a narrative, may be more symbolic than literal, emphasizing the significance of the event or period. Overall, the number 40 in the Bible signifies a period of testing, transition, and the end of one era and the beginning of another, which we're at the end of the era of the so-called white race ruling, and we're going into a new era of righteousness, all right, which is going to be under Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, which that's what's being prophesied in these scriptures, as well as the history being remembered, All right, so let's go down to Ezekiel 29 and let me see. In fact, I'll do it like this. All right, so I'm going to do it like this so you can understand it better, and then I'll get those verses where it prophesies of America as spiritual Egypt being desolate for 40 years, which is judgment. It says in Ezekiel 29, this is an AR overview, which is going to give you an outline of the chapter. It says, contains Yahweh's judgment against the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, which you have the king of Egypt today, which is Trump. All right, let me see. Let me put king of Egypt. Okay, it's not coming to my mind right away. Of Egypt. Oh yeah, the one I was thinking was Romans 9. Oh yep. Romans 9. That's the spirit. The water Yahweh said Romans 9:17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose, which is talking about the king of spiritual Egypt, America, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up. This is why he has made America so-called great, that I might show my people in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Right? So when he destroys America, he will be glorified, and his son will be glorified, just as in the time of Egypt. All right? So that Egypt, Pharaoh, all right? Pharaoh means king of Egypt, all right? So it says, Ezekiel 29 contains Yahweh's judgment against the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, which I showed you. There's a modern day Pharaoh, which this is a spiritual Egypt. Look at the back of the dollar, right? The Great Seal of America and the Pyramid of Egypt are one, which means that Trump is inaugurated just like the Pharaoh in the Egypt was, right? Because they keep the customs of the Egyptians because they have enslaved the Israelites just as the Egyptians, though they're different races. The Egyptians were a Hamite people, and the Edomites are not Hamites, but they're Edomites, but they come out of Sham, one of the sons of Noah. He had 3 sons that survived with him, Sham, Ham, and Japheth, all right? And the original pharaoh of of Egypt was Ham, of the children of Ham. Then you had like Ptolemy, the Greek, which was an Edomite, and he took the seat of Pharaoh. And now today you got the Donald Trump, which he's the king of Egypt today, which America is that spiritual Egypt where we were sent to serve bondage. All right. It says, and the entire land of Egypt, due to Pharaoh's pride and self-reliance, which this is talking about America. The entire land, the only place where the entire land, besides the flood of Noah, right, which we know that's not going to happen again. The second death is talking about the destruction of America, which is also known as Egypt, spiritual Egypt, and ruled by a king known as Pharaoh, all right, Trump. Due to Pharaoh's pride and self-reliance, right? Yahweh compares Pharaoh to a great crocodile in the Nile River, which he will capture with a hook. The hook is the truth. The worm on the hook is the elect prophesying against that devil, the so-called white race, just like Moses and Aaron prophesied against Pharaoh in the land of Egypt. And what happened? That Pharaoh tried to come down with great wrath and pursue the Israelites, and the Lord drowned them, right? It tells you, all right, so I'm going to start up a little bit. It says, let me see. I just want to get the point. It says, in Wisdom of Solomon, this is chapter 10, and I'll get verse 9. It says, but wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her. When the righteous fled from his brother's wrath, which we'll jump down to the point for the sake of time. But let's go down to 16. It says, which is wisdom, she entered into the soul of the servant of the Lord and withstood the dreadful kings in signs. 15. It says, she delivered, which is wisdom, the righteous people and blameless seed from the nation that oppressed them, which is going to happen just in this generation as well, just as it happened in the past. She entered into the soul of the servant of the Lord, just as the Spirit came upon Moses and Aaron, and withstood dreadful kings and wonders and signs, just like what happened before Pharaoh. This is happening now. Render to the righteous a reward of their labors, guided them in a marvelous way. Right? Rendered to the righteous a reward of their labors, guided them in a marvelous way, and was unto them for a cover by day, and a light of stars in the night season. Brought them through the Red Sea, and led them through much water. But she drowned their enemies, and cast them up out of the bottom of the deep. Therefore the righteous spoiled the ungodly, and praised the holy name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and magnified with one accord thine hand that fought for them. For wisdom opened the mouth of the dumb, and made the tongues of them that cannot speak eloquent. All right? So this is what's happening now. But it happened in the past. All right, first with Moses and Aaron and the children of Israel, which they were enslaved in Egypt under Pharaoh, and Moses was raised up to tell Pharaoh to let my people go, which the Lord already told Moses he wasn't going to let the Israelites go because the Lord wasn't going to allow him because he wanted to crush him. Now, this is what's going to happen to the so-called white race in the modern day today in this spiritual Egypt, starting with their king, Pharaoh of the spiritual Egypt. All right. It says, going back to the explanation, it says, Yahweh compares Pharaoh to a great crocodile in a Nile river, which he will capture with a hook and cast unto the dry land to die, symbolizing the political humiliation and downfall of Egypt, which the complete utter destruction is for America. All right, because just like I got earlier to show you that historically, a period of time of 40 years when Egypt, the entire land was left desolate with no inhabitants, has never happened. All right. So let's go back to Ezekiel 29 in the blue letter. And it's in verse 11, 10, and let's see. I'll start at 8. It says, therefore, thus saith the supreme power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to his holy prophets, behold, I will bring a sword upon thee, and cut off man and beast out of thee. And the land of Egypt shall be desolate and waste, which this is talking about America, spiritual Egypt. And they shall know that I am Yahweh, because he had said, the river is mine, I have made it. Behold, therefore, I am against thee, and against thy rivers, and I will make the land of Egypt utterly waste and desolate, from the tower of Sinai even unto the border of Ethiopia. Let's see, web search. Which Sinai, let's see if I'm saying that right. Oh, Sin. is an ancient name for the city now known as Aswan. Aswan. Let's see it on the map. All right, so right there, you can see where it's at. To the even unto the border of Ethiopia. Right, in Ethiopia. Well, you know what? I think I still got that map. Yep. No, it doesn't show Ethiopia. Ethiopia is on the other side of that Red Sea. All right. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm sorry. It's on the same landmass of Africa and Egypt are on Africa. Ethiopia and Egypt are on Africa, the continent of Africa. But as you can see, Ethiopia is here and Egypt is here. And there was no time that this whole place was completely desolate. All right. For 40 years where no animal or beast was. Because it's talking about America. America is going to be that place that is completely made extinct, all right, where nothing will live, where no animal for a period of time, no man forever will ever live, all right. But when it cools down, eventually it will be occupied by wild beasts of the desert. So then I pulled it up in Google. I said, is Ethiopia used in the Bible to talk about another country? It says yes. In the King James Version, the Bible, and some other older translations, Ethiopia is used to refer to another country. See? So the Lord is using this to talk about America. It says in verse 11, no foot of man shall pass through it, nor foot of beast shall pass through it, neither shall it be inhabited for 40 years. Once again, this is talking about America being completely destroyed. And I will make the land of Egypt desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities among the cities that are laid waste shall be desolate 40 years, and I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations and will disperse them through the countries.